Hi everyone, Forrest here with Honey Pots Zone 5, and it is a yummy 56 degrees outside, and for us in the mitten, that is spring. Yes, baby, bring it on. So anyways, today I wanted to talk to you about the National Wildlife Federation and that my yard is a certified National Wildlife Habitat. I'd like to say that it was difficult to get it because I think it can be too easily given out, but it was a short road for me, especially because I am an organic gardener and I have been for all my life, pretty much. Since I started gardening, I thought, that's silly, all these chemicals and stuff. I don't like using them on myself. Why would I want to use them on my yard or something I'm going to ingest or walk on? So yeah, there's that. So anyways, how do you become certified? What do you do? Well, if you go to the National Wildlife Federation website, and here's like a checklist that they have there. I will link that down at the bottom. And you can go through this and see if you have what it takes to become certified in your yard. And the things that you're gonna have to look at, I'm gonna tilt you guys a bit to hold my paper down here, is food, water, cover, places to raise your young, and sustainable practices. Sustainable practices is probably going to be the most difficult for people, but let's start at the top. Food, food's pretty easy. Most people already have food in their yard and they don't realize it. One of the first things for me in my yard are my maple trees. Yep, my maple trees. And that is the first draw of pollen for my honeybees. They'll get that first and then move on to dandelions and stuff that's in my lawn. Also, just having bushes that berry, that bear a nice fruit for them. Sap, suet, your bird feeders. Bird feeders are easy, plus you can do the backyard bird count in February and other things that continue with the National Audubon Society throughout the year. You can also do like a butterfly feeder, which I've never really done that. I have a ton of flowers and I have a pollinator garden, so that isn't necessary for me to do. I do feed my bees, however, and that kind of goes with the watering. Watering, yeah, get a bird bath, but you can also make for your nectar eaters and your smaller bugs, you can have like a dish and these little spongy things in them. I will do a video on that later on to show you guys how you can put that together. It's real quick and easy and simple, and you can just put your sugar water in that, and that's another way that I'll feed my bees as I see that they need it. But mostly they get all their food from my yard and from the park across the street. So food and water, that's pretty easy, right? Cover. You're going to want to have areas in your yard that you don't really futz with. Don't mess with it. Don't touch it. If you need to pull out trash from it or something, that's okay. That'll work. But like you can see, like behind me here, the hedge that I have going along this fence, I planted it last year, and that's going to get really huge. Those are going to weave together, and that's going to give places for them to nest in and places for them to take cover in. It'll be easier for them to raise their young. So that will give them a good place. So kind of look for some conifers and some deciduous. I have a huge area in my front yard. It spans my whole front yard. I've been slowly working on it, adding shrubbery. Shrubbery is the walls, and I will do a landscaping video for you guys later on too. But it's like the walls of your garden so that you can have space for the wildlife, and also it kind of does another job for me where it blocks the road and also the wind, because I get a lot of wind coming in from that direction, and so it'll keep my home warmer in the winter with that. So cover and places to raise your young. Now, sustainable practices, the biggest part of it is integrated pest management. They also call it IPM for short. You'll hear a lot of master gardeners talking about that. a lot of horticulturists. I mean, it is, very important to them and very big to them. Try to control or I would say eliminate any type of chemical, pesticide, fertilizer, fungicide. Nature's been taking care of itself for a long time, and we kind of break that cycle by interfering with all our sprays and stuff because we don't want to pull a weed or something. Or try and isolate the problem in one plant, or remove that plant and get a new one, because not only does it affect that plant and the bugs in your yard and the cycle of good bugs that will come in and eat the bad bugs, or bugs that we consider bad, but it also gets into our table water. It's runoff. Whether you think that little bit is or not, it is. It builds up, and over time, with all the stuff we put on our lawns and stuff, it does build up. And I know I'm kind of on a soapbox here, but come on, you love being outside. Just enjoy it, and let everyone else enjoy it too. You can also, limit your water use by collecting rainwater from your gutters. That's something I did down south. I haven't done it here yet. I would like to get proper rain barrels. The ones that I had down south were trash cans, and we had a few drownings in there. So I got rid of them for that reason. So I would like to get something that is more stable and better put together. Also using mulch, and try to use a natural mulch. Here in my yard, I use my grass clippings and I use the leaves, which you probably see all around me. I haven't picked anything up yet because we haven't passed our frost date. I'll get most of it up before the frost date, unless there's something really tender and picky there. I'll leave the leaves around it to try and keep it warm, and I usually remove all my leaves by hand. I do leave them along the fence here because it's just like bare dirt under there, and a lot of weeds will come up, so this is kind of my way of choking that out and letting these shrubs grow up into my hedge that I need. But that type, or using they have organic mulches out there at your big box stores. Using something more natural than the dyed reds and blacks, and they got browns, and they're just full of dyes and chemicals. So I would recommend using something that you already have in your yard. It doesn't cost me anything to mulch, and as my plants grow, you're not going to see my grass clippings and my leaves. And I also use a lot of ground covers. I'm integrating a lot of ground cover so it will all weave together, and I'll have a living mulch that way. So anyways, so food, water, cover, places to raise your young, and sustainable practices is what you're going to need to certify your landscape with the National Wildlife Federation. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Any comments, questions, concerns, please put them down below. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.